All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a Knoxx We Trust. Thank you for joining me today. Now, is it just me, or does anyone else out there feel as though very malicious yet powerful people, entities, corporations, organizations, what have you, seem to intentionally want to drive a wedge between all of us, just destroy our communities? Is it just me? Is it just me, or does it feel, most recently of note, does it feel as though they just want to set someone, you must pick a side, whether it's, Israeli versus Palestinian, black versus white, gay versus straight, man versus woman, fact versus fiction? It's almost as though you must, show your allegiance to one side. Well, today we're going to discuss something that I think really points this out here, as these people, in particular race hustlers, stop at nothing to drive this wedge of hatred and divisiveness between all the members of our communities. Let's get into this. Here's this article, the Daily Mail. Young Kansas City Chiefs fan is accused of racist blackface by reporter, even though other half of child's face was painted red to match the team's colors. Sports outlet Deadspin has accused a young Kansas City Chiefs fan of wearing racist blackface despite photos showing him wearing team colors. The young fan was also pictured wearing a Native American headdress, supposedly banned by the club since 2020. Reporter Karen Phillips received pushback online for using a disingenuous image and for targeting a child. Sports outlet Deadspin had accused a young Kansas City Chiefs fan of wearing racist blackface despite photos showing him wearing team colors across his entire face, as well as a Native American headdress. The uproar started when a photographer of the young man taken in profile, a photograph, I guess they messed up there, of the young fan taken in profile showed his face painted black. Sports reporter Karen Phillips later wrote on Monday that a Kansas City Chiefs fan found a way to hate black people and the Native Americans at the same time. See what I'm talking about? But others pointed out the other half of the child's face, one not seen in initial picture, was painted team color red. He also took a shot at the headdress, which the team has banned since 2020, saying the fan doubled up on racism by wearing the clothes some consider cultural appropriation. Here we have the image. First and foremost, this Karen Phillips, right? That's his name. Karen Phillips, right? Okay. In my opinion, he is the only individual in this entire situation exhibiting any kind of actual racism. Okay? And what he should be is ashamed of himself as he tries to use a photograph of a kid, mind you, enjoying himself at a football game, and try and spin it out of context in order for him to create his own divisive narrative of racism and hatred. Why? Why? Because he himself is the only person here fueled by hatred and who actually is a racist. This Karen Phillips, appropriately named, I guess, right? Is it his job to provide like sports analysis or some nonsense like that this site pays him? Right? No. Apparently his job is to, sow civil unrest and create further division within our communities, to propagate his hate. I wonder how much he benefits from spreading this message of racism and hatred, right? They must benefit exponentially, right? Because for some reason, these race hustlers always seem to insert these illusions of racism into insignificant situations. Like this one, for instance. Is it simply to create an illusion of racism where there isn't one? Is it so that groups of people from different ethnic backgrounds can hate and destroy one another? Is it for that? Maybe. He doesn't even care to use a child as a sacrificial lamb to spread his message of hatred and bigotry. Not at all. Nothing is off limits. But let's continue. Many indigenous communities considered wearing Native American clothing as a custom cultural appropriation, meaning the superficial or inappropriate use of another people's culture expression. Blackface is the act of painting a non-black person's skin darker to typically mock or imitate a black person. But that isn't what is happening here. And the reporter is well aware of that. Like I said, he is spewing nonsense and hate mongering, trying to sow civil unrest and divisiveness amongst the members of our communities as he benefits. Because I'm certain that there are people out there sympathizing with this man. There are. And quite possibly people who support this man's beliefs. In my opinion, that makes him dangerous. That's what that makes him and people like him. Let's continue. Here we have our race hustler, Mr. Karen Phillips. Let's continue with the article. While the Chiefs have faced less criticism than other teams, controversy remains around their use of the tomahawk chop, a celebration move using the forearm forwards and backwards repeatedly using the... These people, they don't know how to write? Oh my... Anyway, repeatedly with an open palm to simulate a tomahawk chopping. Wearing headdresses and war paint has been banned inside the Arrowhead Stadium since September 2020. The answer to all of those questions lead back to the NFL, the article read. While it isn't the league's responsibility to stop racism and hate from being taught in the home, they are a league that has relentlessly participated in prejudice. If the NFL had outlawed the chop at Chiefs games, and been more aggressive in changing the team's name, see what I'm talking about? Then we wouldn't be here because, anyway. After receiving pushback online by users who argued it was unfair to target a child and it was disingenuous to say the child was in blackface, Phillips doubled down because that's what they do. They double down on their lunacy, okay? Writing on X, formerly Twitter, he said, "For the idiots in my mentions who are treating this as some harmless act because the other side of his face was painted red, I could make the argument that it makes it even worse." Adding, y'all are the ones who hate Mexicans but wear sombreros on Cinco. I guess he meant Cinco de Mayo. So he can't, he's talking all his nonsense. Let me just make sure, because I don't see it here. I don't see the de Mayo. So, he can't even be bothered to be respectful of other cultures. but yet wants to tell people how to think and how to behave. Gotta love it. You really gotta love it. Let's start with the way this article just ended, right? This man is so evil and so hate-filled that first, anyone who disagrees with him is instantly ridiculed as he refers to them as the idiots in his mentions. And more importantly, though, he tells you out loud how he can fabricate a hate situation out of nothingness by stating, just by stating that he could make an argument. That the other side of the kid's face being painted in red makes this situation worse. Which it doesn't. Because there is no situation. Because this whole ordeal is deliberately fabricated with false bigotry, created only to inspire hate and turmoil. That's what he does it for. And you know what else? If these organizations want to adopt these nonsensical causes and champion them, and not allow its faithful patrons to just enjoy an afternoon out at a ball game, then maybe just perhaps fans of any medium that prohibits them from having a joyous afternoon out at a game or at a show or at a movie in a respectful manner, of course, right? You can't just do whatever you feel like it. But as long as you're doing it in a respectful way, just enjoying yourself, maybe those people, right, should consider boycotting these places altogether. We pay our hard-earned money to go out and enjoy a game or a musical or a movie. We don't pay our hard-earned money to be chastised and demonized by overly emotional dingbats who see hatred and divisiveness everywhere they look, everything they observe. Get out of here. And if these institutions want to support these dingbats, then we need to not support them. That's what we need to do. Seriously. Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch, they learned that lesson, right? And perhaps it's time that the NFL and the NBA and the MLB learn that same lesson too. At the end of the day, they're beholden to us. Those athletes don't get paid. Those athletes that like to get on social media and use their platform to also contribute to sowing divisiveness and hatred. Instead of being thankful for their gifts and that they could go out there and entertain the masses, that people are willing to pay them because they're so good at what they do so that they can perform. Nah. We support them, not the other way around. Just because you enjoy it doesn't mean that you can't let it go. And if that's the case, well, then you have your own issues to work through. That's all I got to say about that. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for spending some time chatting with me today. Don't forget to lend your support to the channel with a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you're always in the know when a new episode becomes available, because that's what I'm here to do. Just share my opinion with you guys. See if you agree, and if you don't, leave that in the comments. It's to have a discussion. That's what this is all about, So again, thank you for joining me, everybody. Peace, love, one.